Let me know.
Well, after game 5, it's 3 losses, 2 draws, and no wins. Are people starting to panic about the Ange era, or is it all just a process and we need to get used to it? Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds. Make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you've subscribed as well. Making sure you check out the sponsors of the video. OK Jersey, £15 for your shirts. Always go size up is my advice. Use code FFTV for 8% off. All right, there's so much to talk about. I'm still Forest depressed, boys. I'm not gonna lie. I've slept on it. I've had another nap to try and sleep on it again, and I don't know where my head's
mate,
at.
at least
but
Arsenal won.
I don't know. I fell asleep in that one, so I didn't even see it. But yeah, let's keep going. Ben, let's start with you, Ben. What are you saying? Crypto, Jesus is #1 fan, and the shirt's back up. I see. Great.
No religious messaging on the program, please, Crypto.
I mean, look, I'll summarize. I've written some notes. Well, I'll summarize.
Was it Chat GPT notes?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah. I was going to be impressed then when you said that.
You've interrupted me 3 times already. I've only been live for 60 seconds.
Domingo, that's the way it goes, isn't it?
I'll start with the Domingo foul. I know you lot thought it shouldn't have been blew up, but I disagree because he made 0 contact with him. And if he was expecting to be kicked, then I can understand him going down, right? But he went down and he started rolling around holding the front of his leg, which for me is basically simulation. So I know there's tons of Forest fans there saying it shouldn't have been blown, it shouldn't have been a yellow card. I disagree. I think he threw himself on the floor and rolled around for no reason. There was absolutely 0 contact.
It was contact.
That's the first point I want to make. Second point, Hutchinson. Why is Hutchinson not being given more opportunities? He is by far our best winger on the eye test. He was great in that cup game. I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch yesterday. And I watched a video with Wolfie earlier and agreed what he said. The wingers we're playing at the moment, people like Ndoye and Bakwa, they're running either backwards or sideways, or they're inverting into the center of the pitch. Hutchinson is more like an Alanga type player where he actually comes on and takes defenders on, which is what I want to see. So Hutchinson for me has got to be a starter. You've got to give him more time to see what he can do because I thought he was brilliant yesterday. The Wood header was atrocious. That's all I'm going to say about it. That should have been in the back of the net. Chris Wood is one of the best headers in the Premier League. It was put on a tee for him and he missed. And the only other thing I wanted to kick off with is that I think we're really missing the partnership of Murillo and Milenkovic because our defence, something we were known for last season, has fallen apart. I mean, how many goals have we conceded so far this season? It must be double digits, including the cup matches. So I wasn't that happy. To be honest, I wasn't very happy with the substitutions either. I don't like having Jesus on the pitch at the same time as Wood. We saw in pre-season that 2 strikers don't work. Like, things have got to change. We're 1 point away from relegation. I know there's so many games left in the season, but we're 6 games in and we're 1 point off the drop zone. So I'm still Ange in. We need to give Ange more time. He needs more time with the players, but he's got to change quickly because are we playing Newcastle next? Newcastle looked frightening today against Arsenal.
No, we've got Midland next. We've actually got a European game next.
Well, no, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, in the Premier League, we've got Newcastle. I know they lost today, but they looked very good today against Arsenal. So I'm worried. I don't expect us to go to Newcastle and beat them. So let's see what happens. And Ange needs to change it up pretty quickly.
Really?
Well,
really? Newcastle? I think they're about 22%, mate.
Did you watch the match?
Really They had a back five. They were camped in their own half. Did you see the
Until the last 10 minutes.
Hang on. You said your bit. Did you see the difference in the amount of shots, possession, ball control in the opposition half, touches in the box?
I know, but you don't care about that.
Hang on.
You don't care about that. You're asking me a question and not letting me answer.
Let me finish before you reply. Mate, they were hanging on for 90 minutes. They had like a couple of breaks. They were dreadful. Arsenal outplayed them in every respect.
All right, we're not AFTV, boys.
Yeah, I'm talking with them. Why are we talking about Arsenal?
I thought Newcastle were decent until the last.
Oh my God! Just
great
stop.
Today we're playing. Hang on, he said Newcastle were great today. We're playing them next week. They weren't great today.
Okay.
They were better than us. They were better than us.
No team needs to be great to beat us. Okay, let me just quickly jump in because I just want to say a couple of things. One of my main concerns of yesterday, and I felt like it was such an own goal from Ange, because going from that first half I saw against Betis, and yes, understanding why we dropped off in the second half, but feeling really relatively happy after that performance, because I thought, right, this is a great opportunity for him for the City ground faithful to get behind him, to see some quality football, and he goes and makes these random changes. Now, my concern straight away is he already prioritizing Europa League over the Premier League? Because that's what that seemed like. That's what that selection looked like yesterday. And I've got a problem with that. And I don't think Marinakis is going to stand for that shit. And certainly the City ground faithful aren't going to stand for that shit. The away fans can be a little bit happy-clappy, so you don't really get a real gauge. But the guys, and Rob were there, because I do want to throw this guys onto you guys, because you guys were both there yesterday. What was the atmosphere like prior to him coming out? Did he get a reception? And I heard boos at halftime and full time. And I mean, it wasn't necessarily for the referee either. So I want to get you guys to answer that in a second. But my concerns are that he's already prioritizing Europa League over the Premier League. We should not have been losing that game yesterday. It's another opportunity for teams to come to us and make us look average. We've gone from the surprise package last season, and if it wasn't for Manu being so shite, we'd be the laughing stock already of this season. So what's gone wrong? Because like Crypto alluded to, our defensive record last season was impeccable. Now we're a joke from set pieces. We don't pick up our men. The mistakes for that goal, yes, the free kick was dodgy, but it still was a free kick. If it was for simulation, I just don't like the quick turnaround, how quickly he brandished a yellow card, because he's obviously heard something in his ear and he's reacted straight away. So I didn't like that side of it, but it was simulation. It wasn't contacted, and the free kick was fine. The defending of that free kick was atrocious, because we had one a few minutes earlier where actually Chris Wood's very lucky they didn't look at it for dragging the play down, because they both had grabbed hold of each other's shirts. But that was a few minutes before that goal, and that was nipped to the back post as well. And we didn't learn from that mistake, and they scored a very easy goal. Sels should have done a lot better as well. Once you got your hand to it, you got to get a stronger hand to it. I don't care. The game before that, I watched Liverpool against Palace. Palace should have scored 4 or 5 that game. Alisson was fantastic in goal. He was probably their man of the match. They still ended up winning the game, but they should have scored a lot more. That Sels should have saved that. So I've got a lot of concerns about our loss of concentration, how we've gone from being one of the best defenses in set pieces and corners to being the absolute worst this season. Same players, pretty much the same players. There's still same players organising our back line. But I want Ant and Rob to jump in about what the atmosphere was like yesterday, because I felt like if we'd got a performance anything like that first half in Betis yesterday, the fans would have got behind a lot more behind Ange than they are now, because I think he's right. He's on a tightrope right now, and he's pretty quick into his tenure for that to happen. But he's put himself on it, as far as I'm concerned. Go on, guys.
Well, you want me to go? I'll go, Rob. Then you can have a longer in a bit. The atmosphere yesterday was terrible, and there's a reason for that. When your football team doesn't give you any reason to get off your seat or any reason to raise your voice, then you won't. People seem to think that fans can urge the players on, and indeed they can, but they've got to have a spark. There has to be a spark, and yesterday there was no spark. It was dreadful. It was truly dreadful. With the goal, I agree, having looked at it several times, that it does appear that Dominguez wasn't touched. And if he wasn't touched, then he deserved to be booked for his simulation. Not the going down, because you can anticipate and go down, yeah, but the rolling about. However, to me, that's a very, very minor point in the fact that you need to be able to defend. And the defence against that free kick was absolutely dreadful. Now, there are extenuating circumstances. We do have Murillo missing. We do have Aina missing. So, of course, yes. But that's the whole idea of having a squad. You can't say, oh, 2 of our players out, therefore we can give up crap goals. You can't be doing that, can you? Yeah. People probably know my situation. I'm Ange out until he proves me wrong. I said I'd give him 10 league games, but I wasn't counting the previous ones. I'm only counting from Saturday, from yesterday. That's not a very good start, and I don't know if
that's a lot of time though, another 9 games.
I was going to say, Crypto, if the performances continue like that, I'm afraid it won't be 10 games.
And if he sacrifices the league for Europe, do you think Marinakis is going to stand for that? If he sacrifices,
I hope not. The thing is, Mr. Marinakis really wants to win a trophy, so I don't know. I hope not.
I mean,
the fans won't, because you're right, Ez. There was booing. I think the first half booing was almost certainly for the ref. After the game, I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure whether it was the ref or the port, but it was a very poor performance. And people were walking out there shaking their heads and not happy, whether they booed or not. We don't want to see this. And I'm sick of people saying, hang on, Chris, sorry,
you only interrupted me 4 times, sorry.
I know, exactly, but that was at the beginning. That was a joke. Okay.
It wasn't funny.
I get fed up of hearing, and I don't wish to upset anybody, because everybody can have their opinion and everybody can feel however they want to feel. That's perfectly fine. But don't get on to me when I express mine, okay? And my feeling is that when you say, as I said previously, 10 games, which I'm now revising on the evidence, I don't get this when people give him a chance. Wait, it's too soon. How long do you have to see something shit before you know it's shit? Do you know what I mean? And all you're doing is getting Forest by allowing it to continue, like we did with Cooper. By allowing it to continue, all you're doing is letting the situation get worse and worse and worse. At what point do you decide that's enough? I've had enough. Now, you might say, I was watching Saeed earlier on. One of the guys on there said he wanted to give Amarin the rest of the season. What is it with these people? No, if you see something's not working, and especially with me, because I said, unfortunately, I don't think it'd work because I've seen his previous work at Tottenham, and his previous work at Tottenham is dreadful. He won 1 dodgy competition against absolutely nobody. Nobody. They played nobody of any significance. They could easily have lost that final. If he'd have lost that final, would all these people, these fence sitters, would all these people be saying, oh no, let's see how he goes. Let's see how he goes. No, you'd be saying, well, he didn't win anything. He finished 17th in the league. What we're employing him for? You're all on his side purely because he fluked to Europa League. 8 games, 12, about 14 games. It's a 38-game season. The Premier League is where it's at. That's what matters. Not anything else. Okay, so we cannot risk our Premier League status, and I don't just mean being relegated. I mean our status as a big football club, as a proper Premier League football. Simon, he didn't come 5th, Simon. That was the year before. I've already explained this to you. If your bloody new girlfriend, you find out she was shagging around on her previous boyfriend, would you say, oh, it's okay because the boyfriend before that, she didn't? No, it doesn't work like that. You go on the most recent...
There's kids watching it.
Well, go to bed. I'm angry. I'm very, very angry. And I'm fed up with this tribe about look at Ange's record. His record is disgusting. The worst ever Tottenham Hotspur manager. Ever. No, it doesn't count. No. Yeah, but... All right, Simon.
All right, let me give you some rebuttals, Anne. Let me give you some rebuttals. I didn't say
winning... what I want to say, by the way. I got distracted. But...
Yeah, no, cool. Well, let's face it, because there's a lot there.
Yeah.
If Steve Cooper hadn't won the final against Huddersfield, would everyone be saying, oh, 3-time failure?
I don't know if people are saying 3-time failure. Oh, you mean because he'd been to the? Yeah, they probably would.
Yeah. But they won it, and he won it, and everyone's saying he's the first manager who got Forest out of the Championship from their 23-year absence. So my point here is one game can be defining. To say that him winning or losing that Europa, so you don't think Cooper winning the playoff final was defining?
No, that doesn't mean that you keep the guy forever, because what he did then.
No one's saying forever.
You go on his previous season. How can we sack Cooper when he got us into the Premier League? How can you do that? And believe me, I saw plenty of people saying that. How can you sack Cooper? He got us into the Premier League. I don't give a shit.
I'm not talking
I'm
about
not reactionary. Hang on. I'm not reactionary. I've been saying this before the guy arrived. I've been saying this before the guy arrived. That's not being reactionary.
Okay. Let me go again with you. When Nuno got appointed, did you ever mention his time at Spurs and how crap he was at Spurs?
I thought he was brilliant at Spurs. He won Manager of the Month, for God's sake. He's only there 2 months, and in one of those months, he won Manager of the Month. What more do you want?
I want Rob to jump in, but my argument on this is that I'm not going to judge him based on what he's done at Spurs. It's what his clean slate starts from Forest. So what he does at Forest is all I'm bothered about. He had a different set of players in a different club in a different situation. How can I judge him on what he did there? What he's doing now?
Surely that's what you base your appointment on. Isn't that what you base your appointment on? Oh, how good has this bloke been in the past? That's what you base it on. How good has he been?
Sorry, let me give you one more. Do you rate Iriola? Do you rate Iriola's job at Bournemouth?
Yeah, I do. I like the way he plays football, and I think for a club of that size, he's been fairly successful.
Okay, when he joined Bournemouth, how many games did he win in his first 8?
No, I know. Yeah, it took him about 10 games, didn't it? But Ariola didn't have a track record like Ange Postecoglou's got of losing 22 games in one season. 22 games.
Okay, do you actually know what Iriola's track record is before he joined Bournemouth?
Not really. You know me.
So there you go.
I'm assuming it was good. Otherwise, Bournemouth wouldn't have employed him, because people don't normally employ unsuccessful managers. They do sometimes.
Glasner last season at Palace. This time last season, Palace were 18th. They didn't win in their first 9 games. Should they have sacked Glasner?
What was his previous job, and how well did he do?
He won the Europa League in his previous job.
Else? And they also qualified
and then he joined Palace. And then he joined Palace
for in the league as well. So in other words, he'd come from a very successful spell in his previous job. So therefore, you give the guy a chance to bed in. When somebody's been extremely bad, then the time is less that you can feel you can give him.
But do you see the points I'm making? Like for every point you're making, there's a counterpoint to it.
No,
I'm not.
I've answered your counterpoints.
No, you haven't, because I could counter your counterpoint by saying, but you would say that the Bundesliga is a farmers' league, for example. So you're going to judge a manager based on what
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Okay. So look, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying. Yeah, but you're not guaranteed to be right.
I'd rather have somebody that was successful in a farmers' league than somebody that was an unmitigated disaster in the Premier League, which he was. An unmitigated disaster. 22 losses, finished 17th. Right? So I'd rather have somebody that finished top of the French league than somebody that finished 17th with 22 losses.
Okay, so hold on. Okay. So it's well documented that by January, Ange threw the towel in on the Premier League because hold on. Because finishing 8th or 17th is the same thing in the Premier League.
No, it's not. No, it's not. For prestige wise, for money wise, for sponsor wise, it's not.
Okay.
17th is not the same as 8th. Trust me.
So would Spurs have been better off finishing 8th and not winning the Europa League last season, or finishing 17th?
I'm not talking about the Europa League. But
you can't just ignore the Europa League.
Hang on, it's a separate competition where you're playing inferior competition. You're not playing Premier League teams every time. You're playing the only Premier League team they faced was Manchester United, who finished 15th. Don't tell me that competition has got any validation at all, because it hasn't when it comes to the Premier League.
Okay, so you do know there was only one other Premier League team in that competition.
Hang on, let me just reply to you. Again, Simon, you're missing the point. It's not 2 weeks. It's last season. It's his
It was a different team. It's a completely different team.
Man. I don't.
So why bother hiring anybody then? Because they're from a different team. You hire them because they've done well previously. Are you really this stupid?
Yeah, you hire them.
Everyone else is stupid, aren't
You
they?
know, you've got somebody coming for a job, and there's one guy that was brilliant at his last job, and another guy that was absolutely shit. Do you say, well, your previous employment doesn't matter? Don't be
Yeah,
stupid.
Wait, hold on. Let me ask you this. Do you think Amarim's been a success at Man U?
No.
How did he do in his previous job?
Absolutely brilliant.
Okay. Rob, let's bring
Can
you
we
in.
talk about the game
I mean,
and not
it
about
makes no sense. We're not talking about Amarim. We're talking about Ange
Can we talk
Postecoglou.
about the game and not about
his
the
previous
fucking
tenure?
manager? It's been going on 20 minutes. Can we
All
talk
right, let's
about
bring
the
Rob.
game,
Let's have Rob's
not
opening
the
statement.
manager? Right. So I was there yesterday, and I just want to say on behalf of everybody that was there that was an appalling result. It was an appalling result at a really horrible time, and it came close to ruining my weekend. And I paid £55 for that ticket. And if people want to boo at the end, they're welcome to, because who knows whether they were booing at Ange or at any one of those factors. But it was, let me just point out, though, that this is nothing new, right? In the last 6 months, I've been to Forest 0, Everton 1, Forest 0, Brentford 2. I avoided Forest 0, Chelsea 1, and thankfully I didn't get a ticket for Forest 0, West Ham 3. Well, that is 4 home defeats in games that we should have won, and we haven't scored a goal. So if any clown thinks that changing the manager is going to magically address that and solve it in one go, you are living in cloud cuckoo land. We have got problems that go far deeper than having Ange Postecoglou as manager, right?
It's because you didn't wear the hat, Rob.
Look at the context. Look at the context. Our home form is utter crap, right? We've got serious problems. Now, look, yesterday's game began on about 66 minutes. I looked at the clock. It was like a little light had gone on. Suddenly, we saw some threat. Suddenly, we saw some intent, right? Up until that point, I had watched 65 minutes horizontal and backwards passing that was utterly unproductive, and in the first half did not lead to a single shot, right? And what really disappointed me was the performance of the wingers, in particular Bakwa, who I wanted to start. I was desperate to see him supplying Chris Wood. But I don't know whether we have to give credit to Sunderland, but it seemed that he was always up against 2 guys, right?
He was.
He seemed really, really scared to take his man on. He just did not want to lose possession. And Ndoye, to his credit, did take his man on once and beat him. And I thought that's the first time I've actually seen him do that since he joined, but he wasn't much better. And I felt like, you know, if I'd been in that dressing room at halftime, I would have said to those wingers, look, the entire team, from goalkeeper to fullbacks to everybody, is trying to get the ball to you, right? You are the attack. The whole purpose of the team is to get the ball to you 2 wingers in a dangerous space. I don't care if you take your man on 4 times and lose the ball, if the 5th time you do the cross that gets us the goal, right? But they would not take their men on, particularly Bakwa.
Yep.
He was passing backwards and sideways, and God knows what's his name? I've forgotten the Ukrainian's name, the fullback.
Zinchenko.
Well, God knows what he was doing. He was just wandering. He never left the centre circle, by the way. Something was going on there.
It's because he doesn't want to play left back. He doesn't want to
bozo moments. But what changed? I thought that once Hutchinson came on, we looked very dangerous.
Yeah.
And, you know, their goalkeeper, who yet again was man of the match, just like the Burnley goalkeeper was man of the match, their goalkeeper said, oh, we could have gone on for another hour and they would never have scored. I don't think so, mate. If we'd gone on for another hour like that, we could have got 2 or 3 goals. But the problem is they didn't start until the 66th minute. They wasted 3/4 of the game, right? Now, look, I've watched this Dominguez incident multiple times from multiple angles, and I cannot see whether there was contact or not. But I think that why interrupt the flow of play to bring the ball back, to give a dangerous free kick in a dangerous position and book the guy, right? Listen, it's one thing if you do an Ashley Young and you fall over in the opposition penalty box and roll around and you're trying to buy a penalty that's going to win the game. But what does it matter? Look, okay, Dominguez may or may not have got a kick in the ankle on the edge of our box, right? So why does it make sense for him to do that? And the harshness of that punishment, it's cost us the game because they really parked the bus after that. They were very difficult to break down. And it's just so frustrating that happened so early on in the game.
Rob, what cost us the game is crap defending. The crap defending on the set piece cost us the game. You're always going to give away, you know, fouls here and there. You've got to be better at defending.
Yeah, and
Rob's right. Rob's right.
On the team selection, Rob, it wasn't edge of the box.
Well, it was 30 yards, fine. Okay, but look.
Just carry on, Rob. Just add another point, just to enhance your point. The referee started to walk away back up the pitch. Some player was having a very quiet word with him.
There's something in his ear.
And also, just to add, sorry, I'll let you carry on, Rob. The player next to the ref simulated a card. Did he get booked? No.
You're right.
Sorry,
You're
carry
right.
on, Rob.
Right. So, just to be clear, that ref was crap, right? Because any time that Sunderland were in possession and one of our players went near to them, they fell to the ground and started writhing around and had a free kick, right? And you know when a referee's been rubbish because the crowd start giving like ironic cheers when he actually gives you a decision. I mean, did we get 4 bookings in that game? Something it was stupid.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I want to discuss that though because it's another thing that goes on about our lack of discipline. I saw yesterday Milenkovic, who we've all said should be the captain on the pitch, getting in the referee's face when you know nowadays only the captain's allowed to talk. So Chris Wood was captain first half. Milenkovic got himself a booking for ill discipline.
That was off the back of that free kick. That was off the back of the goal.
But so what? So what? You got to be more disciplined, and Ant will back me up, and Rob will as well. In Brian Clough's day, you would have been fined by Brian Clough for even speaking to the referee. The way we know the referee's a mong. I know he was an absolute mong yesterday, but don't get yourself stupid, worthless yellow cards because Nico Williams is very close to a suspension now. That was his third. I think 5 gets you a suspension before Christmas, doesn't it? So he's quite close.
And Savona doesn't even make the
I mean, we lost that game because we didn't score, right? But goals do change games, and Sunderland only really had to basically sit back and defend. And what annoys me about the style of play that we had yesterday is that no change was made until half time, and the build-up was so painfully slow. Right? Yeah. Every time we had the ball, we allowed Sunderland to get their entire team back in position. Right?
But Rob, do you not think that, because after watching yesterday's game, the one thing that really stood out for me is that the key position we're missing, the key person we're missing, and it was the same last season, is effectively Douglas Luiz.
Yes.
Because no one is controlling that midfield.
I want to talk about the team.
Yeah, one more point. Backward, he was turning around and running backwards, but he was doing it. He was doing it from his own half. If Douglas Luiz is on that pitch, backward wouldn't even have the ball until he's 3/4 of the way up the pitch because it would go through the middle and then it would go out wide. They were trying to take the ball from halfway in our half and run it all the way up the pitch, and they were struggling clearly.
Wolfie, do super chat.
Go on.
Yeah, let Rob finish.
All right, okay. It reminded me.
This is put into what Rob was saying. I just want to let you know, Rob. Tottenham had the 5th worst record for conceding goals from set pieces last season.
Yeah, but and I've just
No,
listed
no,
you.
no.
Yeah, but they won the Europa League.
Tottenham have a good record.
Our
No, they didn't.
home form is crap, and it isn't the manager that invented that. Okay.
Yeah, but you're
right?
wrong.
That's all I'm gonna say. Right.
Don't say it with authority. Say, you could say, I don't think it's the manager. Don't say it's not, because it is.
Right. Everybody played their part
opinion.
yesterday.
But you've got to blame the
I
players.
want to address the team selection.
All right, let him finish his thing, and then
selection.
we'll do
Right,
super chats and get to.
So look, a lot of people being wise after the event about that team selection. All right. Now, I mean, I said after that. So look, the back four picks itself due to injuries, right? Because Cunha is a right-sided central defender. He's really the backup to Milenkovic. The back four or the back five picks itself, right? Now, in terms of central midfield, Louis injured, Sangare was tired, and I think we were all happy to see Domingos back, right? And then yes, I'm slightly disappointed that Jesus didn't start. He had one very good header that had the keeper at full stretch, and I think if Ange could do that game again, he would probably put him in and Hutchinson in for backward, right? But ultimately, once again as well, the McAtee in for Morgan Gibbs-White. We've been crying out for someone to have the balls to drop Morgan Gibbs-White. So if you're going to play that system, McAtee is the backup, right?
Yeah, but don't you think McAtee's disappointing because he hasn't looked like?
Yeah, we'll get into that because I want to get into
maybe we needed a different system. But the thing is, I think there's a lot of people being very wise after the event about that team selection. Bakwa was a huge disappointment. Chris Wood should score that any day of the week. I mean, getting 2 or 3 goals against the likes of Sunderland is his bread and butter. The problem was he didn't get any supply because the wingers were not prepared to take their men on. They were recycling the ball back. Our attack was too slow. Sunderland had the whole team behind the ball every time we got forward. Chris Wood had 0 supply, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had 0 touches in the first half.
Rob, I think that's unfair to say in hindsight people would go back and change the team, because when we asked on the last score if you'd start Jesus or Wood, it was like 80% would start Jesus. You start the informed striker. The only reason he started Wood is because he wants to give Jesus a rest. Jesus is the informed striker. Why not start him? Why not start the players who are performing the best? Yeah, but we're doing this right thing.
Do you want an answer? Do you want an answer? Or is that a rhetorical question?
Ange said in his interview on Sky before the match, he wants to start players like Wood because he wants to give them a chance. But giving people a chance, we need to win the game. You need to put your best squad on the pitch and win the game.
True, but the point is you cannot continue to play 2 games a week. So rotation is a reality. The problem is,
why not play Jesus against Sunderland and Wood against Rob?
Hang on, we've gone from one extreme to the other. Nuno would not move outside his starting 11 for
but Nuno's gone. Nuno's gone.
Yeah, I know, but now Postecoglou is trying to behave like he's some kind of Pep, and he's just keeping everybody nice and fresh.
But surely you play your best squad in the Premier League.
I'm about to say that. I'm about to say that. So the point is that he needs to settle on some kind of first 11 and grind out some bloody results before he starts tinkering, because we're not there at the stage yet where we can rotate, right? But I think we've gone from one extreme to the other. We've gone from being very defensive and being very set on the same 11 core players to suddenly being very possession-based and completely rotating and nobody knowing who's next to them week on week.
I want to respond to a lot of those points.
To another extreme, and it needs a bit of pragmatism.
Yeah, I want to respond to a lot of those points, but going to the super chats and stuff, mate.
Let's catch up with the super chats. There's nearly 800 in here. Shout out to you guys. The debate is already lively. It's lively in the chat as well. I'm reading what you guys are saying, but we're in 155 likes, nearly 800 in here. So please do hit the like button if you haven't already, and make sure you're subscribed if you are new. As we always say, you can see there's divided opinions on the panel. There's divided opinions in the chat. Literally on the poll. I know Si said, why are you doing an Ange in poll? Because the chat wants it. So Ange in is 48%, Ange out is 52%. So that just shows you just how divided it is, and that's had over 500
So that shows you,
votes.
Si, why do the poll, doesn't it?
Huh?
Not everybody is on your side wanting Ange to stay. You're going to need to accept that.
Who?
Si.
He's speaking to
And
someone.
Ant's been firing shots at
No,
Sile.
I don't care what opinions people have. I just want to make sure.
I don't.
I just
Don't
want to make sure we
suppress
have a
them.
platform where people can
Don't
share their
suppress them so that Si can pretend he's got an argument.
You know, but size right on something.
Mhm.
What? What? Hang on. No,
What?
what? Tell me one thing.
What?
Tell me. You said Si's right on some things. Tell me one thing.
Me and Si both wanted Iriolo and Cooper got so.
No.
Okay, don't get
I'm not
distracted.
talking about everything he's ever said. I'm talking about regarding Ange.
Oh, regarding
I'm
Ange,
gonna forget
he's
my
right.
point.
It's only
Carry
been
on.
2 weeks.
He's still in the chat, so.
Anyway, I
Yeah,
got your
have a
back,
good
Si.
chat.
Don't worry, I got your back. All right, Joker with the
Oh, I
33
find my
months.
friend. You're all right. We can have
And
a
let me do the
disagreement.
freaking super chats. Thank you. Joker with
Don't
the
boss me, isn't
33
it?
months. Shout out to you, bro. That's a crazy amount of time, Joker. You're an absolute legend. The generous Chris, as always, with the £2 says, no one is sacrificing anything. Ridiculous talk.
What does that mean?
I don't know
It
what's
was-
that response to.
Who said-
Send us
who
another super chat and explain that, Chris. Explain
He's
it.
got
A big
few
long
more
one.
coming, don't
We
worry.
need a detailed explanation.
I'm trying to. That was at 7:44, so that was about what 20 minutes ago. That was probably when Ant was chatting some crap.
That's when Ant was
You're probably
ramping up.
right. It's something stupid.
yeah,
Ant said, I hear it.
probably right. Yeah.
Hey, the legend Nick is back with the 199. He goes,
Nice,
Wood
Nick.
can't score and Zinchenko can't defend. Big up, Nick, man. That was my mate Logan as well. Shout out to
Can't
Logan.
argue with that,
as well.
can you?
Yeah, and I can't argue with that one at all. Thank you, Gary, for the £5 super chat. We appreciate it. No message on that one. Chris with the £2 again. He goes, we go down last year with Spurs injuries, 100%. I hear that. If we, and
I
Andrew's able
was
to keep
saying to Ant and Monk in the chat earlier, what if we win the Europa League and get relegated?
we'll be the first
No,
team
I
to
wouldn't
ever be in
accept
the
that.
Champions League and the
I
Championship.
don't think you can be in a Champions League if you're in a championship. You know.
I said
don't think
Europa
you-
League.
Yeah.
I said if we won the Europa League and got
Yeah,
relegated.
but then you'd be in the Champions League, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
So I don't think you can be in the Champions League if you're in the Championship.
No, I think you
don't
can. I think
don't
you
think
can because
allow you
Wigan were in Europe when they were in the Championship.
They weren't in the
weren't they?
Champions League. They weren't in the Champions League. I'm talking about.
I don't
I'm
know.
surely he can. There's some of the farmers'
You
leagues
can't.
are in
You
it.
can't.
What
Look it
league-
up.
What,
Chat,
what
look
league-
it up
what
and
league
let us
is
know.
Midget Land in? What league of Midget Land in?
So someone asked ChatGPT, innit?
Yeah. and then we ignore
Chris
the first
with
answer.
another £2. He goes 5 game. Ben. Chris with the super chat. He said, like, this one. Sorry, Chris. He goes 5 games aside. He's been in the job 2 weeks. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. That's the point Si was making.
I think that's Simon's point as well,
and-
and I'm agreeing.
But how
with
many
that.
times do I have to say? I'm not judging him on his 2 weeks at Forest. I'm judging him on his
And-
entire
and
season.
my
at Tottenham
argument
Hotspur. How many times
is
do I
I
have to
don't
say
know
that?
how you can judge him on.
Season with a different team, man.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
you
That's
started.
why I
That's
can't
what-
get
Hey,
my
manager,
head
how
around
many
that.
times do I have to
This
say-
isn't-
how many
this
times
isn't
do I
the
have to
panel
say,
talking
you have
time.
somebody with a shit CV or somebody with a good CV.
Okay, this is on the
You
panel
ain't got to
talking
do with
time.
it. What has
Use
that
your
got to
brain.
do with
The
it?
only thing you can judge a manager on is how he did at previous clubs, you knobhead.
Okay,
No,
I got an
what he did
idea,
at your
right?
club.
Ez mute, Ben mute, Rob mute, Ant mute. It's just me and you chat while I do the super chats, right? Okay. Oh, the peace and quiet, so nice. Andy with the 4.99. He says, Ant, it's like I'm sitting on your shoulder. Well said, lad. Get the Australian Ten Hag gone. And Wolfie, I love my club. I hate frauds like Ange. I mean, you're dreaming of Ange lately, Andy. I hear it. I hear. Oh my God, the peace and I can hear the voices in my head again. Shout out to you, though, Andy. And Forest Lion with the 199. He says, do we need to get used to dud performances after Europa? I think it's too early to judge, bro. I just think people are doing too much Spurs on the Spurs thing, and we're Forest and we have better standards than Spurs. Okay, thank you all for those super chats. Keep them coming in. We'll catch up with them on the next. You can't just mute everyone when it gets good, Siski. Of course I can. Of course I can. That's the power I have.
Well,
all right, likes are over 200. Let's get it up
Last
to
time he ended
250.
the show.
It kind of feels like it. Ez, you were going to rebuttal some of Rob's points,
Yeah.
you said.
A couple of things. First thing, I don't think the back four needs to be set because I was happy to give Zinchenko enough time to get some match sharpness and match fitness, but I'm not convinced at all of his defensive side. I don't know what's happened to Savona. He wasn't even on the bench yesterday. I'd much rather see him given a chance at right back and take Nico back to left back. But the thing is, with this rotation trick, I'm not having it. I'm not having it because the most consistent two players we've had this season have been Nico Williams and Elliot Anderson, both of whom have played through international breaks. Elliot Anderson also played in the under-21 winning tournament in summer. They've had the most minutes and they've been the most consistent. So I'm sick of this rotation because it doesn't help. It doesn't help our squad whatsoever. When we put a team together, actually, between me and Wolfie, I think we only made 2 changes, and that was bringing Hutchinson in on the left and potentially bringing Savona in. But I wouldn't have made the series of changes he made, even in hindsight. He shouldn't have done it because I felt he had a real chance, like I said, to get the home fans on board. And he didn't do that yesterday. But there's a couple of other things that I just want to respond to because these players that we've brought in, I've got 3 words for each of them, and I'll elaborate on a few of them. But Ndoye, for me, is just an expensive Jota Silva. Another one who scored on his debut and is flattered to deceive ever since. Yep. McAtee, Sheffield United reject. I'm sorry, but he was awful yesterday. He was given his opportunity and pretty much in number 10. Get rid of, I'm not convinced. Bakwa, Bonnie Tyler settings, mate. Like you said, turn around, mate. It's a total eclipse of a heart. Face their goal. Stop running backwards. Kali Muendo, bit part player. I'm sorry. I know I said if he gets him, he's not going to.
He was your boy.
He's not going to get him out. And the last one, and my favourite one.
He plays it over that point, isn't he?
He's going to finish this sentence with bring back Tyler.
Because I've got to apologise to Jess on that one. But I did say if he gets in, you'll be hard to shift him. He hasn't had a start yet, so I might back him on that one. But at the moment, he hasn't looked anywhere near up to scratch. And the last one, my favourite one, Hutchinson, must be shagging someone's misses because how is he not getting any minutes? He's not going to get any minutes in Europe. He was the best player on the pitch when he came on yesterday, and he had a face like thunder when he came on. To say that Nuno said he had this backroom team and everybody was all in it, I'm not seeing that from Ange. I'm seeing players looking pissed off for not getting minutes and this rotation isn't working.
Yeah, but the squad's much bigger, isn't it?
No, play your best team. You got an international break coming up. Play your best team. Get some form into those players. Get a system going and sod this rotation bullshit because you're not going to win either way, mate. Because if he carries on 5 games without a win, the worst start of any Forest manager since the late 1800s. No Forest manager.
Can I say? Firstly, I'm not going to allow this. Wait, Anne, please, 1 second. I can't allow this. Bring up Jabba's comment again. Sorry, Jabba, but he can't take credit for that. That was my joke that I thought of there on the spot, on the watch along, okay? And now he's running.
Although you stole my backward joke earlier, so.
And backward.
You're all very big, well-known YouTube superstars. All right, settle down.
Especially Ron, you got noticed.
I agree with everything I said, except the McAtee. I still think McAtee is a good player, but that remains to be seen. But I really think we should make that a regular feature. As a 3 words per player. I think it was
3 words per player.
We should make it a regular feature. You agreeing with Ezan?
Yeah, no.
I'm not going to go that far. Come on,
show, mate.
Sorry, personal joke.
I'm sorry. It was about copyright, and you know what I'm saying. I'm just making sure. That's all. Sorry, go on.
No, I was saying, I mean, like I say, apart from maybe the McAtee, but even McAtee yesterday, like, he had opportunities.
It was poor yesterday. Yeah.
He was really poor, and he had a real chance in a position that he wants to play in. And he's not, for me, he's not a backup at the moment. I'm not saying MG Dub was much better when he came on, but he's not. He's not laid it down.
I got to tell you this very quickly, right? You know the MGW hype that we all know about, the hyperbole that surrounds MGW being in the media. I swear to God, I got in my car after the game yesterday, not in the best of moods, switched Radio Nottingham on, and the first thing that came on was Brian Laws saying, when MGW came on, he was on fire. Nobody could get near him. He totally changed the game. I had to switch it off. I thought, what the hell is this?
What game were they watching?
Were you in the car with Nathan? Because he messaged me the same thing. He's like, you'll never guess what they said on Booty Nottingham, man.
Well, he wasn't in the car with me. He probably felt the same then, didn't he? I'm sure it wasn't me that messaged you that. I'm sure it wasn't me.
No, you and
Oh.
Nathan messaged me that.
Well, there you go, brothers. You see.
Two cheeks of the same ass, basically. Love you, Nathan. All right, I want to get in some of these players. Rob, I'm sorry. I just want to start with Zinchenko, and I'm not going to say anything. And I just want to know what your opinion was on Zinchenko, positionally, defensively, attackingly, passingly. Chat, what are you rating Zinchenko so far out of 10? Just give us a number in the chat. Go on, Rob.
Well, he didn't get beaten defensively because Sunderland weren't really attacking. But he just seemed to be hanging around the centre circle, as I said earlier. And if that's the point, if that's the idea, just pick another midfielder, because do we have his heat map? I would love to see that heat map.
I do. And it's
because
nothing like you claimed it was.
Go on.
Okay, let's have a look.
Was he certainly, I'll tell you what he wasn't doing. He was not working the line with Ndoye, right? So
You sure? You sure?
Yeah, I was there, right?
Would you stake your reputation on it?
Oh, go on. You're going to tell me he's completed.
He was more. It wasn't defensively. He was still on the left-hand side.
Well, I don't know. I felt like we had a sort of 7-man midfield at times.
Yeah, he wants to play as a midfielder, effectively.
Oh wow, that's a big blob, man.
That's his heat map
for the whole game.
Yeah, 80 touches. Yeah. His main work area was in their half. There. You can see very light touches at left back position. Absolutely nothing there.
You're going to be surprised when I say this, but like one of the best partnerships I've seen on the left side in recent times was when Hudson-Odoi was working with Nuno Tavares, right? Because that guy would come up on the inside of him, and they really supported each other as well. And that was when Hudson-Odoi produced his best work. And, you know, his partners since then, whether it's been Nico Williams or Zinchenko or whoever, have not been as such a... I mean, forget the defensively. I mean, going forwards, right? But I just saw zero chemistry between Ndoye and Zinchenko.
I actually agree with you. And do you know who else would agree with you on that? I'll bring Nico Williams up.
The timing of that comment.
Me and Simon were the ones saying about Tavares was working with Hutchinson.
I was just going to say the timing of that comment with the dog in the profile picture and talking about Nuno Tavares.
Nico Williams. Okay, so look at that. Now, just boys, like, come in on this. When I see these heat maps, if I didn't tell you who the players were, you would say this is the left central midfielder. Or the 8 in a midfield, you would say this is a right back.
Yeah.
That's the perfect heat map for a right back. Defensively, you want it about that line, most of his work doing that, and attackingly out here. Now, this, I'm sorry, is appalling for a left back. Now, it's not him alone, even though it's his natural thing to invert in. This is the Ange system where he's inverting the left back in.
Yeah,
this is what I want to see from my fullbacks, and this is why Nico Williams has such great games, because he's consistent with what he's doing. You want to see backwards heat map?
Can we see taking requests that each of them put in? Can we see number
backwards heat map? I can't believe that. You see, this is where he starts with the ball.
It's a circle.
This is where he starts with the ball, and this is where he ended with the ball. I've never seen someone run so fast in the wrong direction of the ball. It's fucking Forrest Gump settings.
It looks like he's not moving.
Perfect sphere, man. Honestly,
it's circular. All right, and then if you want to see McAtee's one, I mean, what is that? It's like spread stone.
What? 33 touches, and he played about 60 minutes. Didn't he get 60 minutes?
It's just no influence. And then compare that to, I don't know if chat, do you like these heat map things? Like,
Anderson and Zinchenko have got the same heat map.
I did not say Back was decent in that game.
Can we see Hutchinson's one compared to Backwell?
Hutchinson. Here you go. He came on again.
He
had 23 touches. They were all meaningful. So That's that one. Anderson, I thought Anderson was quite quiet yesterday. Getting a bit.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
this tells you here, him and
over you.
Zinchenko are falling over each other. They're playing in the same
No.
space. They're playing in the same space.
I do want to have a little touch on Dominguez's role yesterday, because he wasn't played in a role that I think he does actually work in that pivot role.
He was a number 6 yesterday.
Yeah, it was number 6, but they kept bypassing him. The amount of times Sels went long when he should have been.
Dominguez.
Yeah, Dominguez. He should. Right. So in this is what my concern yesterday. We saw Ange trying to play Angeball system with Judas ball players, and I'm going to call him Judas because we know where he's ending up. But Nuno really did sabotage us this season. So we'll get into that probably on another show. But yesterday, with the wrong players in the wrong formation, because like you've just shown there, those heat maps for those fullbacks aren't necessarily what Angeball system should be. You know, they're playing almost Nuno ball in an Angeball system. So it didn't work yesterday. He had the wrong players on the pitch and the wrong players in the wrong positions. But Nico, I'll go back to Nico and Anderson being the standout players, yet the others aren't. There's so much inconsistency because of the rotation, and I think rotation is what's going to kill us. If he keeps doing this, we're not going to get any consistency, and it's going to be even longer before we get this first Premier League win, because he might get it against Midtjylland on Thursday, but when's the first Premier League win going to come? Because like Crypto says, next game's Newcastle. I'm not confident about that. And then Chelsea
after Newcastle.
Yeah.
If you remember back as well, it must have been ages ago, maybe a year and a half ago, a year ago, we were saying the same thing about Nuno. He kept changing 3 or 4 players every single game, and it wasn't working. Only when he finally settled with his starting 11 did he start to win effectively and concede less as well.
By the way,
also, Crypto, changing 3 or 4 players is different to changing 5, 6, 7, 8 players. It's a huge difference, you know.
Yeah.
The thing I really
like, make a couple of points here, and then I'll let you just on these heat maps. Nico Williams, by the book, is playing incorrectly in Angeball. Just so we're clear here. Okay. Zinchenko is playing how Ange would be telling him to. This is not what Ange designs his fullbacks to do. Now, just a couple more things I want to show you. I want to show you the overall pictures of that. You can see how defensive. This is Sunderland's heat map. Look where the main concentration of their work was. It was in and around this box area. Probably the most red there because the keeper had a lot of touches, right? But you can see they didn't penetrate into our half, and we were quite pushed up, having a lot of touches here. Rob was bang on with what he was saying. There's so many. Can you guys see my mouse marker? Yeah. There's so many times the ball was here. We got it here. Backward would then run back, pacey, backwards. He would then play it into the middle to a Dominguez or whatever, back to Milenkovic, to Morato, then up to Zinchenko, then work it down to this wing. Then it would cycle back round and back round. It was infuriating to watch. There's no penetration, and then they just started chucking crosses in, and nothing happened.
No one would play a long pass at any time, right? Everything had to be 6-yard passes, and the speed of the build-up was so slow that Sunderland could get their whole team back every time.
Yeah, but if you want long passes and passes, you need to put on the pitch Sangare. I don't understand why people still have a Sangare.
Sangare wouldn't have been a solution yesterday.
Well,
Gibbs
White. There's Gibbs White.
He makes aggressive passes. He makes long passes.
But you got Chris Wood playing. So listen. This is what I'm saying.
I wouldn't have played Chris Wood. I would have played Jesus.
No, right, okay. Let me tell you what my problem was with it, the mishmash yesterday. Because you're right, we were getting the ball in wide space, but you got Chris Wood in the ball in the box. So get the ball in the box, and we weren't doing that. But the spaces were in behind, and Chris Wood had not got the pace to be getting in behind, and so we couldn't play the ball in the right spaces because they were giving us space behind them. Because they were quite high up. There was spacing behind them, but you got Chris Wood. So you got the wrong striker in the wrong formation, and then you're not getting crosses into the box when you got Chris Wood in the box. Yes, he missed an absolute sitter, but those are wrong players, man. He should have played Jesus, in that formation.
But why are you talking about different players in different positions, and he runs there and he runs? What you saw yesterday was 100% Angeball. You go down the right, you bring it back, you take it across to the left, you go down the left, you bring it back, you take it across, you go down that, you get my drift. That is Angeball. That is what you've been voting for.
It's shit. It's fucking shit.
Hang on, right? That reminded me of our home game where we beat Man City 1-0 earlier this year, because that's all they did the whole time. They would go from one side to the other, and we just sat, and then we had one chance.
That kind of football is done with.
Yeah, so we had one chance in that game, and it was Gibbs White pinging it to Hudson Ndoye, who had a huge amount of space to run into. But the problem was we had no space to run into. There was no space for Bakwa to run onto a through ball, because basically we'd compressed the play.
It's slow.
So high up
it's
the pitch.
Slow, Rob. Angeball is slow. It's pass. And people look at it and say, "Oh, look how many passes we had. Look how much possession we've had. Pass."
Yeah,
Same as Man City. The difference with Man City is their quality of play was different. And hang on. And when that was brought in, it was new and novel, and people hadn't seen it before. So it got, now everybody's done it, and everybody just thinks, "All right, we'll sit back then." Right. And the game is changing. Look at Liverpool. Look at Arsenal. Look how many. Hang on, Rob. Look how many long balls you get from Liverpool and Arsenal. The game is changing, but Ange is not, and he won't do.
It worked nicely for half an hour on Wednesday, and the only thing I can think is that the difference is personnel. Right. So if you'd had Luis and Jesus start that game, right? Yeah. It might have worked.
You're going to give this guy.
Jeez. Yeah, but the last 2 or 3 years that we've heard this from the club, everything goes through Morgan Gibbs White. If you take, I'm not saying he's the best player, but if you take him off the pitch and put McAtee in the 10, and he doesn't know what he's doing, you can see from that heat map, nothing goes through McAtee, so everything goes out to the wings. It's a completely different game. It's not what we're used to.
McAtee
all of the time for the last 2 or 3 years, everything goes basically through Morgan Gibbs White,
and he was pleased with yesterday's performance. He was pleased in the way that
I don't know how he can be pleased with it, because it didn't do his
because they implemented his system, which is shit.
It was shit. I mean, McAtee barely touched the ball.
He's lightweight. Does anyone else think he just doesn't?
I think a part
McAtee is a fantastic England under-21 international player with a bright future. He's had one game with us and played badly. Bloody in a team that was performing awfully.
Yeah, he's been playing with other youth players.
He was bad in the cup game as well.
McAtee has been playing with other youth players. That's the point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to.
Yeah, but you're killing the guy. He's had one game.
He needs to
You're killing the manager, mate. You're killing the manager.
Right, I'll try it again, shall I? I'm not judging him on these 5 weeks. I'm judging him on the fucking whole entire
what he's
season.
done at Spurs.
He lost 22 bloody games. How many times do I have to say it? Fuck me!
You're a muppet.
It's like talking to fucking morons all the time.
What's it got to do? What's it got to do with it? You're judging him with what he did at Spurs. That makes no sense.
Exactly.
It makes no sense. It makes zero sense.
Like you judge a job interviewee at what he did in his last job.
Oh my God.
It's not the same. It's not the same because he's got a different team to use.
Jesus wept.
All right. Let's bring this back to order. Okay. Wow. I do want to talk about McAtee. So let's talk about McAtee. Because Gibbs White has been very Marmite and his form has not been good of late at all. I still think, for me, Gibbs White's best game was against Batiste, where we shoved him out on the right-hand side. He looked very good there for me. And we had a midfield three. We had Sangare, who did we have? Anderson and Luis. That, for me, is the difference. Forget form or non-form or Angeball or not Angeball. We have not dominated midfield. The one time we dominated the midfield was against Batiste, where we put three in it, and we were able to control, obviously, with the Rolls-Royce player, that is Douglas Luiz. Yesterday, I still feel we didn't control that midfield enough either. I thought Granit Xhaka, man, he schooled some of those midfielders yesterday.
He was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant.
How old is he? He must be like 32 now.
34, I think he is.
Bloody hell.
He was fantastic. He ran that game.
The quality of our midfield is not good enough without Douglas Luiz.
I'd like to apologise for my temporary loss of head there. Honestly, guys, I know this guy's taking my club fucking down. I know it. He's awful. He's always been awful, and he's awful now. And he's taking my club. That's why I get so.
He's not going to be allowed to take us down. I think Marinakis will step in before that, but I can't. Listen, I can only judge him on what he does.
He's awful. He's got
I
no
can only judge him with
He's
what he
got
does at
no
my club.
whatsoever.
Yeah, but the point that's being made is Ez isn't saying you're wrong. He's actually saying you're probably right.
You're probably going to be right. Yeah.
No, I accept that, and I understand why people are loath to jump on his back right now. I 100% understand that, and I was trying my hardest. I said I'd give him 10 games, but honestly, it's making me feel sick. The guy is.
Does it make you not want to go to the game? On a more serious note, does it make you not want to go to the matches?
I tell you what, my brother said that coming out. He says, you know, when you move on, because it's like it's going to be a lot further away from the city ground. He says, I could see you turning around at some point this season saying, I'm going to miss this one. And I thought, you know what, Nathan?
Yeah, for
I've not missed a game for years.
Yeah.
But yeah,
£55.
Yeah. I mean, in my I paid
Have
for.
they sold all the tickets for Thursday yet? Have they
And then,
sold
and
all
then the Man U tickets
there
gone
was no
tomorrow.
We need to address that. We need to address that.
I've already got my Chelsea ticket. The Man U ticket goes on sale tomorrow. That's another fucking 60 quid or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's costing me a lot of money, and I've got no belief in this guy. And I think he's
It's a serious point, and it will be for a lot of fans. You know, you can see with like you said, the midweek tickets for Midtjylland. I think they're still available. Have they got now? Okay, but it took a long time to sell them out.
It was still going this morning.
No, they weren't sold out yesterday when I checked. You know, yesterday as well, there was at least 30 tickets available for yesterday's match.
If you want to go and watch that game against mid-tier land, you need to buy a core membership for $49.99 and then spend £60 on a ticket. It's a £110 ticket. After what we've just watched, I'm not surprised they can't sell the ground out, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah, but Rob, it's a midweek game. It's a midweek game. Like I was going to try and make it, but I can't get out of work, for example. You got to remember, there's a lot of Forest fans who are not in Nottingham, and also you just mentioned it's expensive. Huh? No,
we don't need a 50,000 all seater. Just put the prices up until we find the right price that fills the ground.
Just the right balance. Yeah, but okay, if the ticket prices for Saturday were 30 quid, there'd be a queue outside the door waiting for it. Like, you got to remember, man, people are tight on cash right now.
It's hard. It was hard. I had to do it last season. I mean, obviously, because of my operation, I've not been to a game so far this season. I'm hoping to get to Midtjylland on Thursday with my crutches in tow. But it has been hard. And last season, I had to pick and choose my games because it's so expensive. And when you're looking at...
Sorry.
Go on, sorry.
I was say we have sold out now, but it's only just sold out.
Sometimes, you know, like this, I think it was last season, you had like 3 games coming up in short space of time, and that's like the guys have said, £150 to £200 just on your tickets. That doesn't include your match day experience. You know, some people like to have a drink, do whatever around it, and it becomes a very expensive day out. So people are going to pick and choose, and it's not fair.
And it's not just that, Ez. If you're taking, say, your kids with you, then you're gonna have to take them into the club shop. We've all seen the prices of the damn shirts now, which is absolute rip off, and then they want a name on the back, maybe
and
a
the
scarf,
and the European logo, and
exactly. Yeah, let's add the logo.
The council charge you 10 quid to park. Even pre-season games were 10 quid.
It's just ridiculous. So there needs to be a balance on it,
and it's a shame. But whilst they're selling out, I guess they'll do it. But like you say, the idea of needing a 50,000 seater stadium. I mean, I said it at the time.
It didn't sell out yesterday, though. There was a good 30 tickets available.
Yeah, even morning.
There
were tickets available.
I had a ticket, but I resold it because I wasn't feeling great, and there was probably 30 tickets in the stadium available, maybe 40.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it because, you know, we should win that game, please. Hopefully, we should win that game. You know, it'd be nice.
Okay, let's talk about the striker situation. It's been a heated one, chat. Tempers fly. I get it, but we're not gonna
I apologize.
We're not gonna woke our way through this one.
I'm really genuinely worried about what's going to happen to our club under this manager. That's the only reason I'm getting upset.
No, we're on still over 750 in here. We're on 251 likes. If we could push to, I mean, it should be more than 300, but let's start with 300. Please do make sure you're subscribed as well if you are new. I want to get onto this striker situation. So look, I feel Wood took a lot of flack yesterday, and I don't think anyone was mad at him. It was more people were mad at the situation. Is like because he's been so good and prolific that you expect him to score that header. That header sticks out. I think there was one or two other chances as well. I just can't remember them offhand because I refuse to rewatch that match back. But what are you guys saying? Is Woods? Are we now starting to see the curve down of Wood, or is it too harsh to judge it on one game? And is it time to let Igor Jesus emerge? Because I agree with Esman. My point is, why is there this Europeans game 11, Premier League 11? Play your best 11.
Be a best player, yeah. The thing,
players can play
He's
2
only a
games a
young
week. I'm
lad.
sorry.
don't forget as well.
He could play every day. He could play every day. He's
Yeah.
only a young boy.
Don't forget
Yeah.
as well. We haven't seen the best of him yet, but Cali Moendo is
Championship players play 2 games a week all season.
They
Yeah,
can definitely play it. Jesus would have been
Premier
fine.
League players can't do it.
And you could take him off after 60 minutes if you,
Exactly.
if it's the right
Exactly.
situation.
Start Jesus and bring Wood on as a sub. The thing I really hate, though, I really genuinely hate it, and I don't know why he does it, is why is he bringing Jesus on to act as a shadow striker when he's already got Wood on the
Played him in the 10.
Jesus has proven,
stupid.
he's proven to everyone, he's even proven to Ant that he can score goals, but he needs to be in the striker position. He does not want to sit behind Chris Wood.
He scores most of his goals from about 2
Actually,
yards
yes, they
out as
can
well.
play 2 games a week.
Yeah, also, I meant to mention this in my initially. It's another little issue I have with Ange Postecoglou. I'm sorry for you Postecoglou lovers out there, but his way of coping if you're not doing well is to wait from 15, 20 minutes from then and just chuck every striker on you've got. That's what he does. He's got he doesn't change the system. He's got no plan, no thought. He does it every time. He's doing it at Spurs and he's doing it at Forest.
Yeah.
Just chucking loads of strikers.
And he puts Cali
what they're doing, getting each other's way. They're running in the wrong places.
He puts Cali Moendo on the left wing. He's a striker as well.
What do you want strikers on?
What is he doing?
We finished the game. We finished the game quite strongly. My problem is not how we finished the game.
That's because Hutchinson made an impact.
5 minutes. That's my problem.
Hutchinson made an impact. I don't understand. I've never understood how all the fans can see what needs to be done, but the managers can't.
Yeah, it's always been.
Apart from you, Rob, it's always the case.
No, it's hindsight again. It's hindsight again. There's nothing.
It's not hindsight, Rob. We said it last stream. Start Hutchinson.
That's disingenuous, Rob.
Yeah, don't blame the
Right,
fans.
so you're telling me you saw that team selection yesterday and you thought, oh yeah, we're going to lose this 1-1 now.
No, we said it on the last call. We said start Jesus and start Hutchinson.
Yeah,
we put it on Twitter. We put it in the WhatsApp groups. It's not hindsight. It's everyone can see what needs to happen. You play your informed players.
Appropriate service. Chris Wood should have no problem getting a couple of goals against Sunderland.
Well, he did have a problem. So in reality, he had a problem.
No service for the first 65 minutes because our system and our slow build-up just didn't give him those opportunities.
I agree. The service wasn't there. For the first hour of the game, he had no service at all. He should have finished his chance, but he's a victim of rotation as well. He's not getting the steady run of games.
I'd actually like to see it the other way around. I'd like to prioritize the league and put the Europa League second. I think Chris Wood is perfectly good enough to score against Midgetland and all the other upcoming ones, Sturm and the rest of them. And I want to see Jesus unleashed on Premier League opponents. And not only that, I want to see him play the full 90 minutes because we seem to have these games where Jesus bags a couple of goals, then we take him off at half time and then we throw the game. I want to see him not only start the next Premier League game. What is it, by the way? Is it Newcastle? I mean, look, mind you, that's where Chris Wood scored a hat-trick, isn't it? So
it was 2 years.
Can I play devil's advocate? Let's assume the whole point of bringing Ange in from Mr. Marinakis' point of view is to get Champions League for next season. What's going to be our easiest route to that? Is it going to be through the league after the horrendous start that we've had? Or is it 12 games and you're champions of Europe? What's going to be the best route? And which one, if we had to choose, are we going to choose? Because Rob, you just said you're going to prioritize the league. I don't think we can get into a Champions League position from where we are right now, from the way we're playing. But I think we can get a Champions League if we win Europa League.
Right. Okay. But let's just.
By the way, I'm not saying
we've
one
had
way
a
or
couple of
another.
shocking results.
We
We've
should
had
be
a
able to
couple of
tackle both.
yeah. We've had a couple of
it's not
shocking
either or.
results. But let's
Let me
just
ask you
compare
one.
like with like, right? Okay. So we've had a couple of shocking results. Like West Ham, we won last year. We've lost this year. Okay. But Brentford, we lost that one last year. We've won that this year, right? So pound for pound, we're not actually that far behind on equivalent fixtures. Like Palace away, we drew that last year. Arsenal away, we lost that last year. The only,
Same score.
you know, yeah. What I'm saying is, we're potentially 2 or 3 points off where we were versus the equivalent fixtures in last year's campaign, where with one more goal, we would have been in the Champions League, right? So, you know, I think it's way too early to be saying, "Oh, well, you know, we if we're not going to get Champions League through the Premier League, then we need to just forget about that." It doesn't work that way. That's what Tottenham did last year, right? The Premier League is always the number one priority, right?
Yeah.
You know, we've seen the difference between coming 6th and 7th is a whole different, and 7th and 8th. And
yeah,
and
Rob, we've heard from John Percy and alike that Marinakis wants a cup, and we heard from Ange's first interview that he was basically here to win the club.
So
and he even said, "Hang on a second."
So that has to be at the expense of the league, does it?
He even said himself. He even made a joke that if he didn't get off to a good start, he wouldn't be here much longer. He's aware of it. He said himself, when somebody asked him, how long does it take for you to, you know, get your squad ready, blah, 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 he said something like, well, not in 2 weeks, Wednesday, referring whatever the next match was at the time. He knows what he needs to do, and he hasn't won a match since he joined.
Yeah, but let's just be clear. This is why I don't think Ange is going to be sacked until at the earliest.
He won't be sacked.
Christmas, January transfer window, right? Because who has appointed him? Edu and Marinakis. Why did they appoint him? Because they wanted him, someone who would play the players that they brought in, and someone who would adopt a completely different, more attacking style of play that's possession-based and more easy on the eye, which, by the way, a lot of people in our podcasting community have been asking for, right? So the thing is, they've got what they wanted now, and it isn't working yet, right? But the idea that somehow
it's not just about the style of play. That's not the only reason he's been brought in.
No, because the defense is suffering.
Yeah, but
it's
who
not just
hired
about the style of play? It's to get a result. It's to win.
Yeah, but Rob, the style of play I don't think is that great because we're just passing it around.
I know that, but what I'm saying is,
we can't shoot.
Who hired Postecoglou? Why was he brought in? What was he brought in to address? He was brought in to address what a lot of us were calling negative football, low block, counter-attacking, 30% possession. You know, we spunked a load of money.
It's his priorities. What's his top priority? What is his top priority? I don't care about the style of play because I don't think that's changed. Crypto says.
We're talking as if Ange is in charge. He isn't, right? He is the current coach who's been appointed by Edu and Marinakis. And, you know, to put all this on Ange as if he's somehow invaded and taken over and done some kind of coup and killed Nuno and overthrown him and he's a dictator. He's not. He's basically a pawn of the management who have brought him in to do this.
Rob, let me tell you something, right? I have an issue with what you're saying. I'll tell you what it is. You know how I'm one of these idiot people that judges people's capabilities on their past performances, yeah? Which for some reason seems to be a strange concept for you guys.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm going to stick to that. And your past performances are not doing you any favors. You were the last person on this planet to be Cooper out. So don't come with this bollocks about Ange deserves more time because he said exactly the same with Cooper. All right.
Rob, your rebuttal?
Drop the mic.
Bullshit. Right?
That's not bullshit. I back it up. Don't make me get the clip out. Don't make me get the clip out.
Chris was still Cooper in after Rob.
What did I say?
Oh yeah, no, but Chris is one on his own, isn't he? He's
not in this country. He's in Ireland. He doesn't count.
Yeah.
There were plenty of people who wanted Cooper back even after he'd been sacked. Right at the point
Chris.
that when he was fired,
we're not going to let him get away with this, are we?
At the point when he was fired,
Sorry,
Why
you
hasn't the
said
question been answered? I said, what is Ange's top priority? What was he bought in for? Not style of play. What was his top
He's bought in
priority?
to win
No
cups,
one's
that's
answered
what
that. You've gone over round the.
Matt,
No,
Matt,
right,
Matt,
Ed, right.
Typical
I
politician.
agree. He is. I think he's been brought in to win the Europa League. Right.
Thank
But what
you.
I'm saying is,
Back to
it's
my
not
devil's
his
advocate.
decision. He is basically enacting the policy of Edu and of Marinakis because Nuno fucking wouldn't, and he had to go. Right.
Sorry,
we've got to
we need
stop
to
imagining that Ange is calling the shots here, and that Ange has somehow walked in and taken over as a dictator, and he deposed Nuno. He is an employee of the two guys I've just mentioned.
So he's falling into place. Yeah, he knows
why
his
they're
role.
not going to fire him straight away. And
So
also,
hang on a second. Hang on
who
a
else
second.
is available?
There's a lot of new subscribers to this channel, and Rob has just skipped over miraculously what he said. So I'd like to remind everyone. Rob said when Steve Cooper was in charge that he would rather be sacked. Sorry, I've said it wrong already. He would rather see Forest go down with Steve Cooper in charge than him be sacked.
Crap. That
is not utter crap. I'll find the clip.
Right. But I
Don't
can
make me
tell
find
you
the
what
clip.
I know what I fucking said.
I've got
Right?
it saved on my hard drive.
It's a feisty one tonight.
You said you
The
wanted
kids that are watching, he's not. You know, he's not
relegated
only like
to
this.
Forest because you're a Steve Cooper fan and not a true Forest fan.
In October 2023 or whatever it was, I said we need to remove the speculation about Cooper. He's my manager until the end of the season, come what may. Right? You've now rewritten that. You've now rewritten that. Saying, I want to be relegated with Steve Cooper.
A clip of you saying, I would rather be
Find
relegated.
it. Bullshit.
That's not.
Bullshit.
I will
Lies.
find it. I'll fucking
Fucking
spend all
lies.
night finding it. I'll spend all night fucking finding it.
I hope you got all weekend.
Honestly, some
Thanks
people
for telling me the month. It
control
makes
so
it
easily,
easier.
don't they? What's wrong
It
with
makes
them?
it easier to know the month. But can I just apologise to Rob's three
Chill out,
children?
guys.
For the water.
Chill. Me and Ant are chill. I don't know what you guys have had.
Can I say, I thought Omari, because I've not had my bit on Omari Hutchinson, try and lift the mood a little bit. I thought it was very encouraging. His balls into the middle were fantastic. They had so much pace and curl on them. They were brilliant. I want to see more of this kid. I want to see more of him.
And that this player,
I'm glad Dominguez is back as well. I'm glad he's back. First game back, I thought he did okay, but he tired.
He seemed to come on with something to prove, and I think he proved it. So, like I said, the reason he should have been starting or been given more minutes yesterday is because he's not going to be playing midweek. I don't understand this, but like I said, I don't want this rotation or being active every single game. There's certain players, if you can change 2 or 3 players and still keep the core of your team, that's what we need to be looking at, and that's what Ange needs to be doing. Because that's other than that, he's not going to get a steady run of games. He's not going to get the players that on side as he wants to, and he's not going to get any results. If he carries on like this, he's not going to get it. So 2 or 3 players, if you're going to have to rotate those players, but they're going to be in key areas and probably on the wide on the wings. Because Ndoye, I want to have a bit more of a chat about Ndoye because he is really pissing me off, to be honest.
Yeah, but you've got an agenda against Ndoye.
No. You've got an agenda. Will you eat your words about Ndoye? Because you were slamming me and Ant a couple of weeks ago for wanting Callum Hudson-Odoi in ahead of Ndoye. Now tell me about Ndoye.
I've got an agenda against Ndoye. He's shit.
He's shit.
That's mine.
He's shit. I'm sorry. 35 million for that. He goes over. I think Rob was talking about somebody else who goes down too easy, but he's definitely one. Ndoye, I don't know how easy it is to get a free kick.
I'm sorry, but this is not the podcast to talk about people going down easily.
Well, you can take it as you want, but he does go down very easily.
Talking about Rob and Ange again.
He's great until the final third, but I'm sorry, his crossing is erratic. He can't take on a man, and if he does take on a man, he doesn't seem to know what to do.
Thank you, DNA. All the chat remember it. All the chat remember what Rob said 2 years ago.
It's horrible, Rob, isn't it? It's horrible. That's why I always own up. I just own up.
Anyway, Ndoye, low football IQ. That's all I'm saying. He's a waste of 35 million as far as I'm concerned.
Can I say to the people out there, we even now we sometimes get the odd X message on that stupid thing saying that we're not true Forest fans. I mean, hopefully this proves to anybody that we're passionate about our club. And I do apologise for myself, and I think the other guys are. But it was a terrible day yesterday, and I think we're entitled to be a little upset. And at the end of the day,
I don't know why you're apologizing.
Well, because Wolfie's got a bad face on him.
Well, I argue there was no positives to take.
Oh no, I'm just going through the Cooper in, Cooper out. But
no, I found two positives.
He used to have it on the little clip
there. Yeah, that was on the old set.
I want Crypto to write down the words he thinks I said. Right?
He doesn't need to. We can just rewind this tape.
No. I want him to write down what he claims I said, because he's claiming that I said I wanted Forest to be relegated as long as it meant.
I think he was getting carried away there.
I never said it.
Rob, I think he was getting a bit carried away there.
You, of all people, as a member of parliament, chat the biggest shit ever. So don't start saying I'm the one talking rubbish. You work for the people.
Oh, it's got
all right, let me just catch up with the super chats. Big up to Chris.
Big up to Gripper.
I say fucking let me catch up with super chats. Stop pressing fucking comments, man. He does it every time.
You gave him the power. Take it off him, man.
He's typing these.
Chris, thank you for the £2. He goes, and last year said, get that man out of my club.
I probably did. You know what? And at the time, I was probably justified.
You did. And Chris, it was multiple times.
He was just predicting the future. He was just predicting
multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah, look what a snake he turned out to be. He's had a big hand in getting Postecoglou here. So
clearly he threw the game against West Ham knowing he was going to
I told you all you didn't believe me. I told you all and you didn't believe me. Shout out to you, Chris, for the £2. Big ups to Matt, my guy Matt. Always logical, always sensible, unlike the other half of his
absolutely.
Big up to you, Matt, with the £5. He's got his popcorn.
Chris was on it last night, you know. I watched a bit of him on Forest Focus, and he wasn't a happy boy. I've never seen him like that before.
Oh, man, he's been arguing with me right now, man. I'm like, Chris, I'm live, man. And he's like, you know what? He said to me, how long are you going to give Ange Postecoglou? All right, he won't mind me showing this. And I said, I'd give him at least 14 games. And he's like, 14 games, 14 Premier League games. We could be bottom of the league, blah, 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 blah.
I agree with him.
I was like, wait, hold on. I said to him, I seem to remember someone who still was a manager in when they won 1 in 14 games.
He'd have him back now. He'd have him back now.
He would.
He'd have Cooper back now.
He's worse than Rob. Yeah. Big up to you, Matt. Big up to James with the $10. He goes, by the way, I'm not giving him 14 games. That was just to piss Chris off. James with the £10 says, before we got Moyes back, wanted Thomas. What?
Thomas Frank or Marco Silva.
What do you mean by Moyes back there?
He's an Everton fan. He's an Everton fan.
Oh, okay. Before we got Moyes back, wanted Thomas Frank or Marco Silva, sacked unfairly by Managerial. Someone who can play multiple styles and adapt to a squad. My big fat Greek owner got this wrong for use, in my opinion, says James.
Yeah, I think that's a really good super chat. I love my owner more than as much as anybody can, but I think he's made an error on this occasion. We're all human, even the Greek father's human.
Yeah, but it's not big.
I just hope that he puts it right.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to you, James. A big up to Cash. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. He's done a analysis on the game as well. So check it out over on Cash's channel. With the £2, he goes 10 games, and that's 2.
Yeah, it might not. I might, like I said, I might revise the 10 games. I can't take a lot more of this that's happening at the moment, but we'll see.
Shout out to you. All right, let's wrap it there for more arguments. Kick off. Who should we send you guys to? I think I was going to send
somewhere nice and calm.
Ambient house.
I'm going to send you over to Talking Reds. Do me a favor. Just spam their chat with Ange in or Ange out, depending on how you're feeling. In this poll, 48% of you are Ange in and 52% of you are Ange out. And that's had 800 votes. Make sure you've liked, make sure you subscribe. They'll be talking Forest sensibly. So if you want to hear a sensible conversation, we'll send you there now and spam their chat. And yeah, I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video where there'll be hopefully some calmness. Make sure you subscribe. Go check out OK Jerseys. Use code FFTV8 for a further 8% off your £15 shirts. Go a size up. Thank you for watching. Come on, you Reds. Ange in, Ange out. Go Simon.
You Reds.